Hey guys, what's up? It's me here, and there's no doubt that one of the most common questions I get from viewers like yourself is what is better, a 401k or a Roth IRA? So today we're going to break it down step by step so that you can determine which one works best for you based on your individual situation. But first, if you want to learn about personal finance from the entire internet in just 15 minutes a day, let's jump right into it with the 401k versus the Roth IRA. The big picture. First of all, the main goal of both the 401k and the Roth IRA is to help you save money on taxes and to grow your wealth over time for retirement. In fact, both accounts are considered tax-advantaged accounts, meaning that they were created with the purpose of encouraging people to save and invest their money. That's why there are contribution limits and penalties for withdrawing money early. They're meant to be used as long-term vehicles. However, although the goal is the same, the way that they go about doing this is slightly different. Let's start with the 401k. If you're an employee, then chances are your employer offers you a 401k as part of your benefits package. This allows you to contribute a portion of your paycheck before taxes to an investment account. Why is this important? Well, since you're contributing pre-tax dollars, it reduces your taxable income. As a result, you'll pay less in taxes and have more money left over. This is also known as a tax deduction, and it's one of the biggest benefits of the 401k. For example, let us say that you make $60,000 a year and you max out your 401k contributions every single year. Now, depending on how your 401k is set up, you may or may not be able to invest in the stock market. Some companies will offer you a menu of funds to choose from, and others will simply invest your money into a specific plan. For example, my wife's company does not allow her to choose where her 401k goes. It's mandatory that everyone's 401k is invested in a specific Fidelity Freedom Index fund. On the other hand, my company allows me to pick and choose exactly where my 401k goes. I've decided to put mine into a target date fund, which automatically reallocates my assets based on how close I am to retirement. There are hundreds of thousands of mutual funds and ETFs to choose from, so do some research and pick wisely. The second option is the Roth IRA, which is available to anyone, regardless of whether or not you have a job. With a Roth IRA, you can contribute up to $6,000 per year. Now, unlike the 401k where you get a tax deduction immediately, a Roth IRA has no immediate benefit. In fact, you pay taxes on the money that you contribute. However, once that money grows and is eventually withdrawn, it will be tax-free. So if you expect your income to be higher in the future, this could be a good thing. This is best explained with an example. Let us say that you contribute $6,000 to a Roth IRA, and that grows to $100,000 over 30 years. If you were to withdraw $100,000 from a traditional brokerage account, you would have to pay taxes on that $100,000. However, since you've contributed to the Roth IRA and you've already paid taxes on that money, all of the profit that you made along the way will be completely tax-free. So the choice between the 401k and the Roth IRA really comes down to this. Do you want your money to be tax-free when you withdraw it, or do you want a tax deduction now? Unfortunately, there is no right answer because the best choice depends on your individual situation. So let's go through each scenario one by one. If you don't currently need the money and you can wait to benefit from the tax savings, then a Roth IRA might be the better choice. This would apply to someone who is younger and just starting out investing, or someone who expects their income to be higher in the future. Even though you don't get an immediate tax deduction with a Roth IRA, you will eventually benefit from being able to withdraw your money without having to pay taxes on it. So, this makes it a very attractive option for those who expect their income to continue growing. After all, if you're making a lot of money, then you'll probably be in a higher tax bracket and paying more in taxes. Wouldn't it be nice if one day you could completely avoid having to pay taxes on your investments? Well, that's exactly what happens with a Roth IRA. On the other hand, if you need the tax savings now, then a 401k might be the better choice. For example, this could apply to someone who has a high income and is already in a high tax bracket. Imagine if you could reduce your taxable income by $22,500, the maximum amount possible for 2022. If you're already making $100,000 a year, that would put you in a much lower tax bracket and put more money back into your pocket. That's why many people consider the 401k to be a lot more valuable than the Roth IRA. After all, it lowers your tax bill now, while the Roth IRA defers your taxes into the future. There are even more nuances to this decision, but unfortunately, I would need to make a separate video for each one. If you'd like me to cover any of these topics, let me know in the comments below. Alright, next. One thing to keep in mind is that the 401k has contribution limits of $22,500 in 2022, whereas the Roth IRA has a lower limit of $6,000. However, you don't necessarily have to choose one or the other. You can contribute to both accounts at the same time. In fact, you can even contribute to your 401k and a Roth IRA at the same time. For example, let's say that you make $70,000 a year. Your 401k contributions are deducted from your taxable income. So instead of making $70,000, you're now making $47,500. You'll fall into a lower tax bracket, but you'll still have to pay taxes on that income. Then you could take the money that you would have otherwise spent and invest it into a Roth IRA. Now you're paying taxes twice, but ultimately you'll end up with more money in your pocket after taxes. It's a great strategy that I highly recommend to anyone who can afford it. And finally, there are some exceptions where you can withdraw money penalty-free before the age of 59 and a half. This includes being totally or permanently disabled, having a qualifying medical expense, being a victim of a crime, or even being a first responder. However, I would unfactor this into your decision, because it's unlikely that these situations will happen to you. Instead, just focus on the primary benefits of each plan and decide from there. All things considered, if you can afford to contribute to both, then why not do both? It never hurts to save more money on taxes and to have more money invested for the future. Although you can only contribute $6,000 to a Roth IRA, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. That $6,000 is still going to grow significantly over time, especially if you're able to take advantage of the compounding interest. So don't underestimate the power of investing early and often. In this case, you're not only saving for retirement, you're also saving for anything else that might come up later in life. And that's exactly what I'm doing. My wife and I are maxing out our 401 kiloseconds, and I am also contributing $6,000 to a Roth IRA every single year. Yes, it's a lot of money, but if you really think about how much this is going to grow over time, it's absolutely worth it. Although I can't tell you exactly what to do, I hope this gave you enough information to make the best choice for yourself. Again, I want to emphasize that there is no right answer because the best choice depends on your individual situation. And that's why it's always a good idea to speak with a financial advisor to see what's best for you. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, feel free to add me on social media. I post pretty much daily, so if you want to see a brand new video from me every single day, make sure to add yourself to that. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.